Do you like building stuff? Do you like shooting stuff? Do you like games like Rust, Minecraft, Overwatch, etc., etc.? Well, the good news is we have found a game that combines all of that into one and lets you do so many crazy things. This is one of the funnest games that I played in quite a while, and I have a special guest on today to discuss this with me. This is Brax, and I'm joined by... Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is pantsu-tank.
Yes, and Pantsu here is an expert on this game we are going to talk about. It is called FORTNITE, and it is still in early access, but I have had the pleasure of playing it thanks to him. I know he has spent many hours in it. Would you like to go ahead and tell us a little bit about the game and what to expect for new players?
Yeah, sure. So FORTNITE is basically a base building game, more of a tower defense. You could see it as a 3D version of Plants vs. Zombies, which is quite interesting. It's a multiplayer game that has a bit of a mission system like Payday would have. It has a crafting system. You gather materials like you were doing in Minecraft, which is basically gathering wood, bricks, and metal. And you'll get dropped every round in a map that is quite big, but not too much, so that you have the joy to explore, but not to lose yourself in it and lose the objective. But you get quite a lot of things out of it. You get to gather and explore and kill zombies.
Yeah, for me, the typical experience during a quest or a mission or whatever you might want to call it, you're given like a little base type area to defend or an object. And what you do is you spend some time crafting floors, traps, walls, obstacles, everything you can to make it harder for the incoming horde of enemies to get to the center of the base and attack the object that you're defending. So like you said, it is like a tower defense, but I enjoyed it a lot because I feel like it gives you time to strategize and do all of the slow pace stuff, but then the minute that you turn on the object and the hordes start coming in, all hell breaks loose, and then you're looking at lots of action. So it has a nice balance between people that might like to build stuff and create their own little worlds, and people that also just like to shoot things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally see what you mean with that.
One thing that I am a little concerned about at the beginning, this game is a little overwhelming, right? There are lots of menus and there are lots of different things to do. So I want you to walk me through some of the things here that I'm a little curious about. Talk about the armory a little bit.
So the armory is basically going to be your main spot to check out the crafting materials. Well, the crafting materials you can use up to create weapons. From weapons to traps to taking care of survivors, and basically just your whole inventory space. This is where you will know what you need to craft via the schematics you obtain from the looting system, and you will be able to level them up. You will be able to evolve them later in the game, and this goes for every single item in the game. From heroes, materials will be upgraded further on. There are a lot of aspects of the game that need to be, basically you start off with a level 1 thing that you will be able to carry over until the late game, where you will be just constantly upgrading it if it's worth or not and gain useful upgrades on.
I like it. It was a little confusing to me at first, but I think I'm slowly starting to understand it. There's a lot of depth here, and I'm very impressed by how much depth there is and how much ability to upgrade and stuff there is. And then you have the skill tree, right? And that lets you upgrade your characters in different ways. And you can play as multiple characters. So there's kind of like different heroes in the game that you can control. That gives it a lot of diversity too. I'm really digging it, man. I like it a lot.
Yeah. For the hero system also, it's very interesting. They have sorted it out in 4 classes. So far, I haven't heard anything about any additional classes down the line. But we have the Outlander, which is basically going to be gathering resources more efficiently. We have the Ninja, who's basically your melee guy that is jumping around and throwing swords and everything like that. We have then the Constructor, who's doing what his name stands for. He's going to be your main backbone for the bases you're going to build, and it's going to be even more obvious later down the line. And then you have your Call of Duty guy being the soldier.
Right. So I guess as you progress, the quests are going to get harder, and you need to understand how to put together a good squad, right? You're going to need one person that's really good at constructing. You're going to need one person that their job is just to take out the enemies, etc., right? That's how it works, kind of on a tactical level.
Yeah, very, very much like that. And the thing that is very interesting about the game is that the further you go into it, the more those classes are fulfilling a very specific role, and the more you see that you will need a very balanced team to actually accomplish stuff very efficiently and with the maximum score that you can obtain.
Awesome. And there are also, you get loot in this game as well for completing quest lines and stuff like that. Is there any random number generation? Is anything random about the loot? Because I haven't noticed yet. Can I get, I know there's like common, rare, you know, different levels of loot. Is all of that set, or can you just sometimes, like in Borderlands or something like that, just get some really nice loot by chance?
So from the loot side of things, if it's from the loot you gather during missions themselves, your valuable source of loot will always be the treasure chests that are actually hidden. At times very, very completely hidden, and sometimes just out in the open. But those usually provide you weapons that are fully finished. It's not a schematic, so your main source of good stuff that you can carry over for a very long time will be the piñatas that you have from the outside of your missions. So you will get rare materials. There will be rare materials down the line. A few of them you can obtain already in the first areas of the game.
Yeah, I like smacking the piñatas. I think being able to hit the piñatas is a really neat little way of getting loot too. That was cool.
They also have a very interesting thing about the piñatas being the rarity of them. Since you have, so your very main piñata is going to be the upgrade piñata, as they call it, and they say that it has a high chance of upgrading. So when you smack a piñata, you have a small chance that it actually gets hit, takes the hit, and turns into silver, which will upgrade your loot drastically. And it can go that way, and every hit you give will reduce the chances of you upgrading to the next one. So it will go from your normal piñata to silver to gold and then to platinum.
So I see a lot of stuff here that I love. Lots of stuff that is really great. I like this game a lot so far. Is there anything that you've experienced that you're kind of disappointed in? Because I know you've been following the development and you've been keeping up with this game quite a bit. Is there anything, you know, negative, I guess you could say?
The negative-ish thing I would say is that for the very first area of the game is a very tedious process to go through, and it doesn't mean that it's not enjoyable. It's just that it gets very heavy, and you see that it has to be very time-consuming. But that comes from the aspect that the game right now is in early access, and that once the game will be fully released in 2018, they do plan on making it a free-to-play game. So the process of getting to the next area is kind of tedious right now, but I still really like it. There isn't really too many negative points of it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel the same way about that. And for them to have it free to play for next year, I think this is going to be a hit, to be completely honest. It's built in the mold of so many other successful titles like it that have worked. Very excited about it. And you do have the store, so I'm assuming that there are going to be ways that they're going to encourage you to maybe spend some money on this game. But I don't mind that, because I think that the product that they're giving to players right now is good enough that people are going to want to spend money on this game, you know?
Yeah, well, as of right now, getting into the early access will require you to buy a Founders Pack. There are many of them. There are 5 different of them so far, I know, ranging from $40 to $250. And that basically gives you access to the game with the higher the edition, the more stuff you will get. And so as for the store, they already give you the possibility to buy something they call V-Bucks, which is what you will mainly use to buy piñatas like they do already right now.
Yeah, totally. And I want to make something clear to people watching as well. This is a game that you will have a blast playing with other people. That's how I feel about it so far. It's going to be really great for you and a couple of buddies to play. And I think those are the best games that you can have right now. It's gonna do really well. I mean, that's my personal opinion. But this is one of the best games that I've reviewed in a month, probably. And I'm really glad that you shared it with me.
Oh, well, that's my pleasure as well.
So that is FORTNITE, guys. If you are interested, you certainly need to keep up with this game and make sure that you can get your hands on it at some point. I want to give a very special thanks to pantsu-tank for joining us today. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to watch another one of those videos in your face right now, and we'll see you guys on the next one.